Good evening everybody and welcome to this tutorial for how to make the Reaper from Fallout 4. So to begin, we are going to draw this out very simply. So, now when I have drawn this thing up, little easy, I will actually do a little bit of modification due to this thing goes up here too high and then go. So I will actually put a bar here right through it, right through the handle, so it will be much sturdier and don't be wibbly wobbly or break. So, then we have the blade here. I will put out this chainsaw chain here and maybe need to do a little bit of adjustments due to its, so we can follow this properly. Because now we're gonna cut up 3 different layers. One that is going to cover the sides, and one that's gonna be the inside, so it will be much sturdier. So now I will do that. So I have now done the pancake part of it. You see, I'm gonna flatten everything out and try to make it as much as one solid piece as possible. So on the end here, it's gonna have a part so you guys can slide over all the tubes and things. So we have this structure to work with here, which looks like a kind of a complex part, which it might be, but follow me through and you will see. Yes, I'm cutting this out here to make everything as solid and straight. So it is a very complicated thing to make, because it's not that it's hard to do anything, but it is very many pieces to work with. So I'm going to clamp this thing together, and also it will be straight, and you see, there it is. And I'm gonna glue it. I'm going to actually put out where the holes there we're gonna drill, because there are screws in this thing, so it will be pretty much all the parts will line up properly when we're gonna cut out all the edges, because it's very nice is everything gets straight and so on. So don't glue this until I tell you to do that. You see there, I've put all the screws here, and then I've drilled a lot of holes to make this easier to carve out all the holes in there. Here we go. And I just cut out all the holes in it and just put the chain here as a reference. So now we're gonna detach these screws and we're gonna take the middle layer and we are going to remove around the corners 5 millimeters. Yes, and you see, I'm just gonna cut it out very easy, so the chainsaw chain will slide in. There's a bit weird in the game because it looks like a bicycle chain with no like teeth on it. But since I live on a farm, I do have an old chainsaw chain. So yes, and now you see I have now took a little sanding and glue, and now we are going to sandwich this whole thing together. All 3 of these parts like that, and let it dry overnight, and then we're gonna cut the chain to length here, and you see I'm just gonna try it out. Do not glue this. This is like the last thing we are going to do on this, which we will find out in part 2 of this thing. as I mentioned earlier, there will be.
Okay, so we ran into a bit of a little problem here due to I thought it was a graphical bug when I actually went in and watched. And no! This thing is supposed to be like this, and then it's gonna the handle, and then we're gonna have the drivetrain, and it's gonna be on the side like that. So I am going to slide the handle inside here and do a little bit of a compensation due to this little fuck up I did, but whatever, we're gonna keep going.
So, I'm gonna take a little piece of wood here and do a little spacer of it. I must say I love that the game you can go in and rotate all the 3D objects and see what they look like. That is fantastic. And so see, I'm gonna bolt this to it here, and this was strong enough. So you need to have like 2 or 3 bolts, so it will be sturdy. And now we're gonna cut out from this part. It's from Baby Foods. This lids here. I don't know if this exists anywhere else in the world. I have seen it in my store in Sweden. But you see, it's a very good and interesting part. And now we're gonna tape to make the thicker handle, which I've noticed is the gas tank for the thing, which is really darn clever. Even though the other rippers in the other Fallout games are being powered by electricity with fusion cells and so on. So now we're gonna have this in isolation foam here for house buildings. Someone asked me where I could get this, and outside of Sweden I have absolutely no idea, but it is styrofoam that is very, very dense, and I know that I've seen this be on some productions in other countries when they make like movie props and so on, so I think it's available. Anyway, whoever you asked that question, now you have your answer there. So we are going to carve this with a sharp knife and do very long slides of it, and then we're going to sandpaper it so it will look nice. Like that. There's a kind of a small grained sandpaper there, and try out the chain so it will line up, because it's going to be slightly under that. And still, don't glue the chain. We'll do that the last time. I have to stretch that if you still think you're going to glue it, so don't do that. And you see, now I have done this back part of it, because this is the extended ripper, which I thought looked much cooler than the other two, which looks kind of short, and yeah, I like the long one. And you see there, and it's a lot of trying to line up things and correction, which you will do with these things. So it's not 100% correct, but you have to do something. And now we're going to hit the heat gun, which we'll be very careful with, because we're going to slightly melt it, so it will have a very flat surfaces. And now we're going to draw out like the sizes of stuff here, like the little gears that they have in between there, because now it's going to be a lot of small parts going to be made here. So you see, that's like the size of it, and there we have the gear, and now we're trying to make a new gear makeup from the little sketches I did on the screen there. And I'm basically going to cut out from this little sheet of advertisement plastics. You can take any kind of plastic box or anything. This plastic is plastic, so some person might not agree on me with that, but whatever. For this, no one will notice, because we're gonna try to make it look like paint anyway. So I have this little metal, and now we're gonna have this little lid here that has the same size as the kind of strange gear there. So you see, I've just cut that like that, so they will be flat. And then I'm going to glue it to and you see, I have to actually cut out a little bit of it there, so it will fit properly. Yes, like that. It will be fantastic. And just glue it on. You don't have to bolt this because I think it will be unnecessary because it's gonna hold up very good anyway. Much of the parts on this thing is more like bolted together than it's glued, so this will be one of few parts that is actually gonna be glued on this thing, but it's not gonna have any proper structure. Now we're gonna make all the holes, or one of the holes for the gears that will drive this thing, and now we're gonna do the little wider drive chain for this, which I took cut up the small glue sticks for my small glue gun and put them like that. Yes, and then we're going to make the little well, let's say gas handle that will make this glue. It's just going to cut out that pipe there. And now we're going to make this little... I took some liberty to make the cover a little bit bigger. Due to this drive chain will be, well, very hard to hold up. And so on. And you see there's some more holes. Now we're going to make the little cover for the gears there. And I'm just going to cut it out and bend it to the shape it will, because it's gonna shape itself mostly due to when I bolting all this together. And now I have the upper part, and there's a little bit of thicker hose. I had a little small part of that, and then we're gonna have a little more thicker pipe on top of that in a moment. But you see, I'm gonna take the pipe that is the same dimension and press it, and so it will cut it out with the force of your end, turning it at the same time. And then we're just gonna attach this. It'll take a little bit of adjustments, but it looks so damn good. And this is also glued. And I was gonna slide it on there also, but it's also gonna have some be bolted to it, because, well, why make a cosmetic bolt when you can actually use a bolt for it? And you see, then just some fixing with a heat gun also on that one. And you see, now we're going to line all of these things up, and it is very good to have transparent plastic for that part, due to, well, you will see where the hole is gonna end up. And the plastic I used for that was for an ice cream box. So yes, and now we're gonna make some little detailing things here, which I don't really know what the detailer are doing, but it's due to this is apparently gas fed. This will be like the engine for it, maybe. I've tried to figure out how the whole thing works, and it doesn't really make sense, because if that is the piston that will drive it, what's the little box under it, and why is that not connected to whatever. Someone will figure this out for me. If you're an engineer and you will see that, oh, this will actually work, well, please explain it to me. And now we're gonna make some little bigger nuts here and bolts, whatever, nuts and bolts, some of the part is I don't remember the English word for it right now. Anyway, so this is going to be the exhaust pipe, which is also a smaller glue stick, which I heated up with a heat gun and shaped it. And now more of this baby food lids thing. The inside of it we're going to make look very pretty, and put it onto this very, very small little plastic pipe there, and just gonna glue them together. You see, like that. And now it's assembled. Pretty, isn't it? Yeah, so the next step from here is going to be me resting a bit, and then we are going to cut out the gas handling thing here, which I just also made a template out of the screen, and just drawing it out on this little bit of plastic, and then cutting it out and attaching it like that. And now we're going to bend it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this will be part 1 here. In the next part we will keep on doing some stuff which I might have missed and paint it. So stay tuned when we will finish this Ripper from Fallout 4.